Martin Luther King Jr. said, "We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools." Martin Luther King Jr. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Martin Luther King Jr. What does that statement say to you, that quote, my friends? What is that saying to you? Let those words go deep into your being. Just meditate on these words for a few seconds. We must learn to live together as brothers or perish together as fools. Martin Luther King Jr. So basically, we have been given a choice. What's coming up for me here is that either we're going to choose oneness, we're going to choose to work together, we're going to choose to make decisions that are in the best interests of humanity, we're going to choose to set goals that are based on a win-win, not trying to control others and trying to create a win-lose situation. So this is a principle that's come up. And I want to ask you a question. Do you ever feel that you are being controlled in any way or in any ways? Do you feel that your freedom has been taken away? Do you feel free living in this world right now? Do you ever feel there's like a lack of accountability from those in authority, and you feel like there's nothing you as an individual can do? Sometimes, most times, a lot of times we see crimes that have been committed, and somehow we feel in our gut and in our being that there's a lack of action taken against these beings. We almost feel like a sense of powerlessness in our beings because the law of truth and integrity somehow is being violated. So I want to share with you just my thoughts on what we can do and perhaps should be looking at doing in order to change things and to create a world that we really want to live in. Because I think, based on my situation right now, what I've learnt, you see, when you have money and all your basic needs are taken care of, and you don't have any real issues in your life, any maybe pain that's confronting you or conditioning that you need to deal with, you kind of get into a space where you can kind of cruise along because everything's okay. And I'm not saying that's a bad place to be at, but it can be a place that's also protecting you from looking at the truth of what's really going on. If we look at what's going on in the world, and I'm not one that likes to focus on the negatives. I don't do that because I don't believe that's the solution, to making changes in the world. But what I've realized in recent months, it's very important to expose what is really going on, and then also to do our part to bring about the changes. Now, for example, when you look at murders that are taking place, how people are being murdered, it's crazy. In this country where I stay, every now and again I see a story of a lady who was 8 months pregnant. She was murdered and she was found hanging on a tree. What brings about this kind of action? We hear about rapes that are going on. We hear about gender inequality. We hear about people violating others. Child pedophilia. More than 800,000 children go missing every year. Where are these children going? We've seen recently how people have been exposed for child pedophilia, child trafficking in the certain cases that have come up. Also, if you do your research, you'll see that there is many places that do child sacrifices. Thank God for the internet. All of this is coming out and being exposed by people who are happy to blow the whistle and have the courage to speak the truth. What kind of a being takes a young child, and sacrifices them, right? Why? What is motivating this kind of behavior? So we need to get to the root cause. I was watching a video on YouTube last night, and I was just seeing some of the suffering going on by some people in a specific country where this family just had no money and they never had places to stay. And I just watched how the little child of about 7 was talking to her friend, the neighbor, and they were talking to each other about the pain that they were going to feel because they had to move out of a friend's house, and who knows where they were going. They were actually hoping that they wouldn't land up in the street. What is the root cause of all this suffering, this pain? Why do we see a lack of consequence, the lack of justice being done, when we know that there are culprits out there? There's no consequences. What is going on? Why is there a lack of power, a lack of adherence to integrity and truth? So I do agree that there must be consequence. There must definitely be consequence for actions that are performed that we know deep in our gut are wrong. There's got to be consequences. And one of the things I was thinking to myself just about a week ago is that the only way, I believe there's 2 ways that we create a better future for ourselves and for our children and for the world. The one way is that we have to stand together in unity for what we believe is right. That's one of the ways that we make change, we bring about change. Margaret Mead, one of the quotes that I've read in the past that I like very much, she says, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." Margaret Mead. So when we see this corruption going on and this lack of accountability, the easy way is to just feel this powerlessness inside our being and to just let our lives carry on. But we mustn't do that. We must remind ourselves that there's power in unity, and we must stand together and join similar groups that want to see change. It's amazing what I've seen in South Africa recently, how there's groups that have popped up where people are tired of the corruption. People are tired of the sense of nothing being done to bring about, to see truth and accountability. It's amazing. It's actually blown away and excited about these groups. And the one group that I just joined today, there's already over 125,000 people that have joined this group. And you can see in the comments, all of us want more freedom. We want a better life. We want life to be lived according to the law of sowing and reaping, the law of truth. So the one thing we must do, we must stand together. We must stand together to bring about change. The second thing that I believe is just as important, we have to go to the root cause of what is causing all of this what I've discussed. And what I've uncovered in the last 30 years of working on my own personal development, I believe there are 2 energies that are at war since the time of creation. There's the war between the energy of truth and the energy of the ego. The reason I call it ego as opposed to evil, even though the ego creates evil, is ego is something we can all do about. So we must understand, when we see all of this going on in the world that we're living in, we must understand and look through the eyes of energy, the eyes of the energy of truth and the energy of ego. We must ask ourselves, what energy is dominating the world? You see, we are all part of humanity. We're part of the collective consciousness of humanity. And I believe what we see in the world is a reflection of what the collective consciousness of humanity is creating. We are, in a sense, in a very, very sense, we are all part on a very, very deep level of what we're seeing that's manifesting in the world. And the reason I say this, we have to take the responsibility as well. Why? Because when we realize that we are part of what's going on, even if I did nothing to create a murder that took place maybe a couple of months ago, like I explained with this person, this lady was 8 months pregnant, she got killed, and her body was found hanging on a tree. Now, on a very, very deep level, even though I had nothing to do with the physical act of what took place, on a very, very deep level, I believe that possibly I'm also responsible, because the question I need to ask myself, am I totally in control of my inner power? Am I radiating the positive, creative, high frequency vibrations of love that I can? I'm certainly working hard at it, but I know that I can radiate more love to the collective consciousness of humanity. So we need to understand that these two energies are at war, and we need to take responsibility and do our best to make sure that we are doing the inner work to radiate positivity, to have the power and the strength to stand up to not allowing ego to perpetuate itself. And as I've said in previous videos, the energy of truth is the energy of our soul, the energy of our essence. Our essence is pure love and pure power and creative power and truth. That is our essence, and we need to get in touch with this energy, because when we come from a place of truth, a place of pure love, and a place of creative power, where we understand that we have the ability and the power to create the life we want to live, then we come from a different place. We come from a place of love. Why is there gender-based violence? Why do people take out their frustrations on the weaker species? Why are we doing that? Because we're not in touch with our own power. We're not in touch with our own blissfulness and our own inner essence. When we realize that we are love, as I've explained, and that we can create what we want in our lives, we come from a different place. We come from a place of accepting what's going on in our lives and taking responsibility and doing our best to improve things. So we need to work on ourselves. It's not easy. And when I talk about getting in touch with our inner power, maybe most people are not aware of what I'm talking about. Because when I was 25 and I started on my journey of personal development, I didn't know what this inner power was and this inner love. I didn't know, because I was so controlled by my past conditioning of having a low self-worth that I couldn't even see through different eyes than those eyes of feeling not good enough. So we need to do the work, my friends. Number one, we need to stand together. We need to take responsibility. I love this group that I've just joined. I can't remember the name of it. If you go onto my Facebook page, you'll have a look. It's something to do about Movement 1 Million or something like that. But I loved what the admin said. They said we have a choice. We're either going to choose to stand up and fight for our freedom, or we're going to choose not to do that, and we're going to choose not to have freedom. That's where we're going. We have to make a choice. So that's my message, that the future, our future lies in each one of our hands. We are each one responsible for the future that we're creating. And don't underestimate your power to bring about beautiful, positive change. We have to look inside ourselves and find that beautiful power that is our essence. My friends, you are a powerful being. You are a being that can bring about enormous change. And it starts with ourselves. And one of my favorite books is by James Allen, As a Man Thinketh, as you thinketh in your heart, so are you, as a man thinketh. And I just want to read to you a little paragraph. says in the book, only through much searching and mining are gold and diamonds obtained. And man can find every truth connected with his being if he will dig deep in the mine of his soul. You see, if we want to find the truth, we have to clear away all the muck. We have to get past our conditioning. We have to face our conditioning, face the emotional pain that is sitting in our inner being. We have to bring it up into conscious awareness, and we have to work through it. For in the mine of your soul, you will discover that you are the maker of your character. Through similar exploration, you can find every truth connected with your inner self. How you are the maker of your character, the molder of your life, and the builder of your destiny. You will see yourself shaping your own thoughts, watching the effect on you and on others. Using every event that occurs in your life, no matter how trivial, as a means of obtaining that knowledge about you, which is understanding, wisdom, and power. So what I'm learning from this, everything that happens in my life, sometimes, a lot of times, I can slip and I can start to feel discouraged. I can start to feel a lack of power and taking responsibility. But when I read stuff like this, it reminds me I have to be strong. I have to look at my situation and circumstances and see it as an opportunity to be strong and to grow. Like I've shared in some of my videos recently, I'm going through an interesting, challenging time. I have no money in my bank account right now. I don't have money at the moment to pay my internet and cell phone connection, which is due in 5 days' time. And at times it can get to me, but then after a while I just accept what's going on at the moment, because I made choices to take this path in my life where I'm working on myself and I'm going to help people, because I want people to know the truth and to be strong so we can have a better life. And I just accept everything as it is in the moment. I don't fight it. And then I say, you know what, I have to be strong. I've got to stay focused on the end result and trust that things are going to work out as I want them to be. Here, more than in any other area of your life, is the absolute law that those that seek find, and to them that knock it shall be opened. Isn't that interesting? When you dig inside yourself and you knock, you'll start to find, even though it's tough. For only by patience, practice, and ceaseless effort can one enter the door of the temple of knowledge. Isn't that beautiful? For only by patience, practice, and ceaseless effort can one enter the door of the temple of knowledge. What is the temple of knowledge, beautiful friends? The temple of knowledge is our true essence. We are created in the image of the Almighty. I'm not a religious person at all, but when I see truth, I don't mind sharing it. Our temple of knowledge is your essence, your inner being. And when you have the tools like meditation, taking quiet time, doing self-evaluation, consciously working on a goals program, digging inside yourself, accepting responsibility, when you do the work, slowly but surely, you will find the key to opening the doorway to the temple of knowledge. And that's what we need to do. We need to do the work. The pain that we go through, the suffering, the obstacles are all blessings in disguise, because when we take responsibility and say, great, I'm going to use this, like when I'm in gym, I'm going to use the resistance to grow. That's when we start to grow and we start to bring out our power and our light and our pure love and humility and compassion and creative power to create the life that we want, and to start to shift the consciousness of humanity, the collective consciousness. And I just want to leave you with two little quotes that I like. The first one says, thousands of candles can be lit from a single candle, and the life of the candle will not be shortened. Happiness never decreases from being shared, Buddha. wrote this quote. And one other quote that I want you to share. Bruce Barton said, "Sometimes when I consider what tremendous consequences come from little things, I am tempted to think there are no little things." Every time you say a positive affirmation, every day and every way, I'm getting better and better and better. Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Today is a beautiful new day, a new opportunity. Every day you look at your goals program, read your goals. Every day you remind yourself of your dreams and your goals and how you've changed and how you've improved and how you still want to impact the world and the things you still want in your life, what you want for yourself, what you want for your family. Every time you read positive words, every time you expose yourself to positive thinking, whether it's a video on YouTube or whether it's a book, every time you do that, what are you actually doing? You are nurturing the seeds that are going to open up the doorway to your temple of knowledge. Let's stay strong. Let's work together. Let's create a beautiful future for ourselves and for our children. If any of you want some help in your journey, if you feel that you are being suppressed by your past, if you have a team of people and you want to help them to become more motivated, send me a message and I'll work with you and I'll help you. Also, if you like this video, please click the like button, share in the comment section what excited you about this video, what insight did you gain, what goals are you working on right now, how do you want to make a difference in the world, and please share this video with as many people as you can. You never know what people are going through and how maybe these words can touch people's hearts. All the best, my friends.